They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
They were young as we are young. They served, giving freely of themselves. To them we pledge, amid the winds of time, to carry their torch and never forget. We will remember them.
Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Peter Rosendahl. I am the battle captain of the South Alberta Light Horse Reserve Unit here in Lethbridge, and I've been asked to speak a few words in to the theme of this year's Remembrance Day, which is service, courage, sacrifice at home, around the world, and and across the generations. As a reservist in the Canadian Armed Forces, I'm a volunteer. All the members of Canadian Army are volunteers. However, as a reservist, I have a full-time job outside of my Army work. So one of the things as this year's theme of service and sacrifice is that a reservist also volunteers to go overseas on any kind of peacekeeping mission. So I think about a few of the people I want to bring up today. First of all, my brother. His name is Warrant Officer Derek Rosendahl. He's also in the South Alberta Light Horse. However, he is stationed in Edmonton. He has served overseas 4 times, volunteered every time for that. In Cyprus in 1991, he was with the UNPROFOR United Nations peacekeeping in 1993 in Croatia, and again in 1996 in Bosnia. And in 2008, he served with ISAF in Afghanistan. He has given up many years of his life, whereas a Reg Force soldier is told to go. A reservist, like I stated before, volunteers to go. He did not have to go over at any time for any of those deployments. In regards to the generations, another friend of mine, Sergeant Rob McHugh, he was also the South Alberta Light Horse in Edmonton, a good friend of mine. He used to be my tank driver. He also served over several deployments overseas. He was in 2006 also in Afghanistan, where he was present when the first female soldier to give her life in the service of her country, Captain Nicola Goddard, was killed in an action that he was part of. And that's one of the things, the sacrifice she gave for ultimately her life, but he also gave a little part of himself and left himself there. To this day, he suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, mainly due to that action. The nice thing about his story too, though, is that he also has a generational story. In the 75th anniversary of the Normandy invasion, he was asked to go there and supervise people going through the trenches and just be a host for some of the dignitaries there. And when he was standing in front, he was holding his grandfather's medals, which were back from World War I. And Prince Harry was one of the dignitaries sitting in the very front row. And Prince Harry came up to my friend Rob and said, I see those medals that you have there. Are they someone you know? He says, my grandfather. These are my grandfather's medals. And so he's looking through the medals, and Prince Harry said, my grandfather gave your grandfather that medal. And Rob was very, very pleased to be able to speak with Prince Harry at that time and remembers that very fondly. A couple of other stories I want to bring is also the sacrifice of the service courage and sacrifice of Alberta soldiers. There have been a total of 7 Alberta reservists who gave their lives in service of their country recently in Afghanistan. Prior to Afghanistan, there haven't been any reservist deaths in peacekeeping. But with the war in Afghanistan, many reservists, hundreds of reservists volunteered to serve there. One of them was Corporal Nathan Hornberg. Corporal Hornberg was with the King's Own Cavalry Regiment, and he volunteered to go over and was a recovery vehicle, an armored recovery vehicle driver for the Lord Strathcona's Horse Royal Canadians. When he was serving over there, they came under attack from a Rekotis rifle, and that weapon was causing much difficulty for what he was trying to do at that time, which was recover a tank that had thrown its track. Corporal Hornberg got out of his vehicle, went and repaired the track, and at the same time, then his own vehicle had its track taken out. And while he was under fire, the Rekotis rifle hit the front of his vehicle and knocked a bolt that was attached to the outside of the vehicle, and it came through inside and killed Nathan instantly. Corporal Hornberg is remembered now. He's buried in Nanton Cemetery, where his family had a farm, still has a farm. His father became very involved in the remembrance of reservists going overseas. As his son gave his life, he wanted others to remember that as well. And then tragically, he lost his life to cancer a year later. This is all of these stories are in a video that the brigade commander of the Army Reserve in Alberta has called Deployed. Canadian Army Reservists Overseas, which details the stories of many Alberta reservists who have gone overseas. And it's dedicated also to Michael Hornberg, passed away 24th of March 2018. Another one of the sacrifices. He sacrificed his son. With that, I'd just like to mention again, this Remembrance Day, the theme being service, courage, and sacrifice at home and around the world and across the generations. At home, many of Army reservists, many Army members, we serve something called Operation Lentus, which is Canadian service at home for ice storms, flooding in Manitoba, flooding in Quebec. Recently, I served in BC in 2018 with forest fires with many other soldiers. We do serve at home. You've probably heard of the recent deployment of soldiers bringing supplies up north to communities that suffer water shortages or contaminated water sources. Also the nurses that were deployed into hospitals to help out with the COVID pandemic. There's many different kinds of sacrifices that continue to go on this day. So I just hope that this Remembrance Day, you take some time to remember those if you have a personal connection with someone who is serving or has served in the past, to remember them and to remember and pray for those who are overseas at this time. Canada has many members overseas right now in Latvia with the NATO Operation Reassurance there right now, also in the Ukraine, and a bunch of other peacekeeping and other advisor programs around the world. Thank you for your time.
Fly away, little pretty bird. Fly, fly away. Fly away, little pretty bird. And pretty your own tender love you'll bring. If I away, little pretty bird, cold running the spring. Love's own tiny flames warm sleeping, and love's tender song you sing. And fly away, little pretty bird, and pretty you will always sing.
Like a bird on a wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to sky. Loud the wind howls, loud the waves roar, thunderclouds rend the air. Baffled of fall, stand by the shore, follow they will not dare. Bonny boat, like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to sky.